This year in my classes, I've gotten a lot of people who are irritating, who are annoying, who are judgmental, who make fun of others a lot. In these classes, I often hear them talking about like different people, gossiping about them. Sometimes like a kid in the class will walk out and then seconds later the teacher and the students in the corner will literally be talking shit about that kid basically until he comes back and they all quiet down again and don't mention his name until he's not there. And I hear this all the time, and I always think like how do you find this so intriguing? How do you find this so interesting to talk about? And then I always come back to the same realization that it's not their fault. The same thought comes up time and time again. As soon as I ask myself, why are they doing this? It's always they are a product of their experience. They're not doing this to be bad. They're doing this thinking it's normal, thinking that it's right, even thinking it's a good thing, or at the very least, a neutral thing. It can be very easy to assume that people who act in that way are bad, that people who do bad things are bad. But really, as I've mentioned before many times on this channel, people are not the single instance that you observe. People are not the single moment that you have with them where they do like an annoying or irritating thing, an immature thing. People are all the years of life they've experienced. They are a product of everything that has happened to them, everything that they've been taught. Now that changes when you start to have like self-awareness and you start to philosophize, because then you start to mold yourself. But before that point, before you've had that epiphany that you can be whatever you like, that you have autonomy and freedom over yourself, over your own soul, you're simply a product of your experiences, of your authority figures, right? Of what you've been taught, what society has taught you. In that case, can you really blame somebody for being the way they are? Can you really look at somebody and say, oh yeah, you're this and this and that, without ever like really delving deeper into why they're behaving that way, without considering that that's not the only side to them, that they're like a whole complex being the same as you? And also that, and this one is kind of iffy, I've struggled with this concept for a minute because I can't really decide which side of this is right, so maybe you can help me with this. But I don't really think that bad people exist at all. I think that bad actions exist. But as I said earlier, when people do bad things, they often do it believing that it's good. And if it's not good, that it's at least justifiable. That there's a good reason, a good enough reason to do that thing. Or that it's neutral. Nobody ever does the bad thing thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna harm this person because fuck them, because I want to see them suffer. Nobody like does bad things simply to be evil, right? There's always like another layer, at least one layer behind that statement. There's always like, there might be, in the more serious cases of like people inflicting bodily harm onto others, like murdering and torturing them, there's usually a mental illness somewhere in there. There's a history of abuse, or a history of isolation and bullying where they weren't really understood by anybody, never really loved or cared for or accepted. There's always a deeper desire, like an inner desire for more than just like senseless harm. They think that the world needs to be cleansed, or the world needs to be fixed of something, rid of something, and they think they're the ones fixing it. In lighter cases of people lying to each other, for example, right? Or judging others. Judging is very common, like when people judge others and maybe you call them out on it, they might say something like, oh, well, this person does this, 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 and this. You're right, maybe judging is wrong, but come on, look at what this guy's doing. Look at what he does. There's always some justification. There's always something behind an action. So the next time that you get in a situation where somebody's doing a thing that's wrong, that you think is bad, that's annoying or irritating, look at that person with objective eyes, with clarity. Don't look at them with this like emotionally charged vision, seeing them as a bad person, seeing them as like, oh, this guy's so fucking annoying and irritating. He's having all these negative thoughts and reducing them to that one particular trait. Look with sober eyes. Look at them with indifference and neutrality and just say, okay, yeah, he's doing this thing right now. If it's something that's actually a bad thing, by all means, stop it if you have to. Like, get involved and confront him. I'm not saying be a passive observer, be a bystander. I'm saying have control over your own emotions and your own thoughts so that you don't start to, like, react emotionally. Because think about it. If you're in that emotional headspace where you're thinking, this guy's this and that, like, he's so fucking annoying, he's pissing me off. If you're in that headspace, you're not going to be judging rationally. You're not going to make rational decisions. Instead, you might end up doing something that causes more harm in the long term than if you just relaxed and you looked at what was happening. It's going to be all for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, comment, let me know if you agree, if you disagree, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.